You're listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hayner.
Hey guys, Charge here with Zoom the TBT, and we're completing our regional previews with the fourth and final region, which will be a gang-busting TBT. Charge, big day today.
Yeah, no, this is going to be wild. Perfect timing as we go through the Peoria regional, as you mentioned, the last of the four. But you know, the news that came out today in Peoria was just big in the regards that losing their my mind. Tubby time is out, so Tubby time is out. So Bobby Parker, one of our guests today, GM of Always a Brave. What did you think when you heard that?
Well, you're breaking the news to me. So yeah, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, he basically said it was player defections or something along that line. It was kind of an odd tweet that came out, and you know, declaring that they won't be in there, looking to get back in 2022. Now, the thing is you know, a lot of what we state is through research, and so it hasn't been announced by TBT yet. But if you look at their website, the Chicago Hoopville Warriors, who've been a longtime TBT participants, is listed on the website, but not quite in the bracket yet. So we are going to make the assumption for the purposes today that the 7-10 matchup is going to be Always a Brave versus the Chicago Hoopville Warriors. So just crazy this late in the game to have a team drop, and it's not COVID, nothing like that. It's just
and as far as what happened, I guess you can probably add Diedrich Lawson and KJ Lawson. What happened? Something very similar happened in Memphis when they had mass defections because of Tubby Smith. So that makes some sense. Good time to also welcome our guest, Mike LaTulip, the GM of House of Paign. Mike, what's going on today?
A lot, apparently. But yeah, no, I'm good, man. I appreciate you guys having us on.
Well,
big news, unrelated to this, but just worth mentioning. Marcus Keene is out for sideline cancer as well, so that's kind of the other breaking news that went down today. So we haven't heard the reasons why behind that as well, but it's wild. The couple of days, the week before leading into these regionals has a lot of activity, and obviously anything can happen to any team. So looking forward to diving into both House of Paign and Always a Brave tonight.
And let's get into a general question real quick. If you guys involved, let's start actually with Bobby on this one. And this is for both of you though. Like, you guys are actually the co-hosts of this. So how much of an honor is it? Always a Brave is us as a long-standing. You've been in this event many times. Like, how does it feel to be a host again post-COVID?
Yeah, it's exciting. The post-COVID part is really exciting to actually have a basketball event where fans can attend after going through a whole college season where we weren't able to do that here in Illinois. But it's exciting to have the fans come to Carver Arena, and certainly with Bradley's alumni team, Always a Brave, and then introducing the House of Paign and Illinois' alumni team. You know, we're looking forward to getting Carver Arena rocking for TBT this summer.
Yeah, and also, Mike, same question to you. Now, I am also, people who watch our podcast know I am actually a UIUC grad. I have my Master's of Architecture there for 2004. So my second favorite team besides Memphis is the Illinois Illini. What's it like to be a co-host and also only being an hour away from Chambana? Like, how much is that going to help you guys get the crowd into the game, you think?
Yeah, I think it's a big factor. I think going from, you know, with Peoria coming on a little bit late in the process, and I think there were 4 regionals originally, and Peoria wasn't one of them. And then once we found out that it was going to be Peoria, obviously the University of Illinois has great tradition, but so does Bradley. You know, it's a great program as well, and to be able to have it that close in proximity to not only Champaign, but it's not a far drive from Chicago at all. And I know that's a major hub for a lot of the alumni base, a lot of the fan base. So you know, I know there's a lot of people that are making the trek down. So it'll be a fun environment, and obviously. Yeah, it'll be good to step back foot in that gym again, and I know you know, Bobby and them do a great job. They got a heck of a team, so it'll be fun. It'll be a fun tournament.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what that arena looks like. Obviously, you know, the Bradley teams hosted it before, had good crowds in the past. But I was at the Big Ten championship game this year down in Indianapolis, so the Illinois versus Ohio State game. And, I mean, both of them are about equidistance from from Indianapolis, and the Illinois fans probably outnumbered the Ohio State fans 10-1 in that game. It was just insane how many people came out from Illinois to support their team, and I'm expecting more the same. And what's going to be cool too is, I'm sure, as long as you guys aren't playing each other, the fans in attendance, whether you're Illinois, whether you're Bradley, are really going to rally behind those local teams and just really have a good time with it.
You know, it's interesting too that here in Peoria, obviously Bradley University is located here in Peoria, but just the sheer nature, the size of the schools, University of Illinois actually has more alumni in Peoria than Bradley does. So
It's a massive
really interesting
school.
to see.
I went to a smaller D3 school doing my master's in Illinois. It's immense. It's a huge campus. It's wild. It's like, wow, there's a lot of damn people here. So Charles, let's get into these matchups real quick. And we'll start with, and this is the first time we don't have any stats. Thanks again to TBT Thoughts for doing our stats, but it's tough to do the stats when the team changes 3 hours before taping, basically. So Bob, Mr. Parker, we can't give you much help on your slide. The roster is up, but I didn't have a chance to think. So I guess your scouting starts anew, correct?
Yeah, it definitely does. Like I said, I'll be making some phone calls as soon as we get done here, but got some new prep work to do.
Absolutely. One of the names that comes up quite often is Jimmy Gavin for you guys. TBT's done some articles on him, intriguing player. So obviously the guy can shoot the heck out of the ball. And 3-point contest was announced today as well. So, you know, more and more breaking news. So have you guys announced who's shooting in the 3-point contest yet and ready to reveal that, or still mulling that over?
Yeah, but you might as well go ahead and sit down, because our 3-point shooter is going to be Patrick O'Brien.
Patrick O'Brien.
Really?
All right.
Yeah. Patrick believes he's a 3-point gunner, so we're going to put that to the test.
Really? For real?
Yeah.
Follow up. What does that mean about how you're going to run your offense? Are you going to run a 5-out Warriors thing? Is it going to be a lot of pick and pop? Like, is Bryant going to be doing that in the games?
I'm sure he'll put up 1 or 2 during the games, but the goal is to keep him down on the block.
Oh, this should be fun to watch then. I'm looking forward to who's rebounding for him. You guys get that worked out yet?
Tony Bennett's going to be our rebounder.
Nice. Yeah, so this team here coming back around, you guys got some guys with some really good experience. So, you know, what should the fans expect from brand of basketball, and how you guys look to play the game in TBT 2021?
Well, I think that the neat thing about this team really is the mix we've got of the veteran guys who've been through not only the TBT experience, but you know, seasoned professionals, and having the opportunity to mix them in with the young guys. So I imagine the style of play may vary based on who's on the floor. You know, when we got Patrick, Tony, and Marcellus on the floor, it might be a little different pace than when you put Dante Thomas out there with, you know, Lukeman and Darryl Brown and whatnot. But I imagine Coach Ruffin will mix it up a little bit. But yeah, just a really interesting. And I was talking to a couple of the guys today, the younger guys, who are really looking forward to that opportunity of playing with Marcellus and Patrick and Tony.
Yeah, it looks like what about 4 or 5 guys just out of college, so should be interesting. Those guys usually bring a lot of energy and kind of enthusiasm to the TBT, and obviously it's on ESPN. You got NBA guys watching, commenting on the game, so I'm sure they're pretty amped up to give it a run.
And Bobby, I feel bad because I was going to put a bounty on Tubby Time and give you guys a bottle of champagne if you knocked them off. Same offer I made the Purdue alum when they beat Tennessee. But now I guess I won't be owing you any booze. So I'm sorry about that.
Nah, that's too bad.
So we're going to the next matchup real quick, where I can't get Bobby drunk. Let's talk about this House of Pain Underdogs thing. This is one of those games that really speaks to me on a lot of levels as a Illinois alum, but also because I am from Memphis, Tennessee originally. So Jackson is, you know, about an hour north of Memphis. So this is like the Andrew Hayner inaugural game, basically, of the two teams matched up closest to kind of my heart. So first of all, Mike, tell us a little bit about how you got the idea last year of starting House of Pain. Let's start there.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching the tournament for years. And year after year, you start to ask yourself the question of, man, why don't we have a team in this? Plenty of talent playing internationally, and you know, Brad Underwood and even Gross and Bruce Weber, they all did a great job kind of molding these guys, and you know, they've all had great professional careers. So I think that the question really came down to, okay, now how do we put it together? I think Michael Finke, who played with us last year, was approached by the TBT, and it was just kind of one of those, hey, point us in the direction of somebody that can get this done. And he pointed them in my direction. And luckily I'd already laid a little bit of groundwork, because I was just sitting around watching the tournament, texting guys, would you play? And that's the age old question, because you know how it is. Your roster is not set until you take the court.
Your team's not set apparently until you take the court.
Your team is not set. That's correct. Yeah. So, so going into it, I wanted to make sure that if I was going to dive into it, that there was some buy-in, with these other guys. And luckily there was. I mean, a lot of them were really excited, not only just to compete in a tournament that has a cash prize, but represent the university and, and be able to play in front of Illini fans this year. And then last year with the pandemic, kind of an odd inaugural year for us. But yeah, we're extremely excited. I think it's a great blend of guys, and, both guys that have played about a decade overseas, and then some guys that are just out of college as well. So we were a much, much younger team last year. But this year I really do like the mix of guys we have.
What are the odds on a D. Brown, Luther Head, Darren Williams appearance on some capacity of at least visiting and saying hello, if not lacing them up?
That'd be awesome, right? Sub-mall, just sub-mall at the same time. But I talk to D pretty frequently, and I know Roger Powell's out recruiting and doing his thing for Gonzaga. I know Darren Williams is on the golf course somewhere. And then, Luther as well. I mean, it'd be awesome. I mean, we want to make sure that this is something that alumni, whether you're on the team or not, that, everybody feels involved in some capacity, whether that's literally subbing into the game or being at the game and attending it and being able to mingle with the fans again. Luckily, this year we're able to do that. So as we continue to build this thing, that's something that we look for is how can we get everybody involved, and how can we make this special, not only for the players, but for all the former Illini.
Yeah, so obviously being at the right place at the right time is key sometimes, and the roster is key. So I think two pieces that really stand out for the House of Paign, obviously getting Mike Daum last year. So obviously COVID.
Hi, Matt.
You're able to get that nice transfer in, retained them. So fantastic there. But I think the big story of this offseason has been Brandon Paul, someone who did not play last year, went to Team Hines, and then bounces back to Illini this year. So tell me about those recruiting efforts, and I'm sure you're ecstatic to have Brandon Paul playing. Charger guy, by the way.
Yeah, no question. I'll start with Mike Daum. And so when I played at Illinois for 4 years, I had a 5th year of eligibility, graduated, and then I was a grad transfer. And one of the schools that I was looking at was South Dakota State. Went to South Dakota State on a visit, and lo and behold, the guy that's showing me around and really hosting me is Mike Daum. So throughout the years, he and I have kept in contact, whether that's via text, via Instagram, whatever it may be. And then once, he was actually, he was playing for Iowa United at one point last year. And then once we realized that the field was going to be condensed, I really made it a point to go and snag him. And him and I got on the phone. He was in the Denver airport at the time. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was like a 30-35 minute conversation. And by the end of it, I think he was pretty confident and not only what we were trying to build, but also what his role would be in it. And he's a fantastic player. I think that was on display last year without question. And then with Brandon, you're talking about a guy who is not too far removed from the NBA. He's a guy that I played with my freshman year when he was a senior, and a guy that these guys look up to, quite frankly. And he was a massive part of this team, because you got guys, not only just the Illinois alumni texting me like, is BP playing? Is BP playing? Mike Daum's texting me, is BP playing? You know what I mean? Like they were so excited to get on the floor with him, and he's such a, he has such a magnetism about him and a charisma about him, and that's another thing that, in addition to just his versatility as a player and his skill level, he's such a great guy to be around. He's such a great locker room guy. You can't stress that enough in these single elimination tournaments. It takes one bad apple, really. It does to kind of sour the experience for everybody. So being able to bring guys onto a team, like that's truly a prerequisite for us. if you're a problem, it's tough to justify having you on a team given these circumstances. So all these guys that are on this team check those boxes, and all of them are excited to play. And we're really, really happy with how this roster turned out this year.
So Bobby, that's great that you got all those players. I'm not going to ask Mr. Parker though, because Bobby, he has an advantage you don't have, unless which is worse. Having a team like the Jackson Underdogs who don't have a lot of pros, there's not a lot of tape on them, even though they do play in this tournament and are a very credible opponent, versus finding out you have a new opponent a week before the tournament. Which situation would you rather be in?
I'm gonna tell Mike right now, you got to be ready for the Jackson, Tennessee Underdogs.
I know.
We saw them in 2016 when they were a 16 seed and beat the Kentucky team in the first round, and then we were down 5 to them with 17 seconds to go, and managed to pull off a bit of a miracle to advance. So those guys come to play, as I'm sure you know, and I'm sure you'll be prepared. But it's the case with with this tournament, with anybody you're going to play. I mean, you're playing quality teams. I mean, all of these teams have got players, so it's I don't envy Mike getting ready for the Jackson, Tennessee Underdogs. He probably doesn't envy me right now trying to get ready for a team he didn't know he was going to be playing. So
yeah, I mean the Jackson, Tennessee Underdog prep started the day we found out that we were playing them. I mean, it's been every morning getting up and trying to scrounge up film on a lot of these guys, and for the most part you can go back, and luckily they've been a mainstay in this tournament. So you have film on them, and there may not be the Jalen Barfords of the world, but at the core of what they do, I mean, they're probably one of the most physical teams in this tournament.
Yeah.
Blank. I mean, they pressure, they get India, they knock you off your spots. You look at a guy like Antoine Long, the Long brothers.
Yeah.
They're 6'1", they'll post you. They play a different type of style, and that's kind of what I'm getting across to these guys is you got to be ready for anything. I think this is going to be one of the more physical teams in the tournament, as I mentioned. So keeping that in mind, I think it'll be a great test for us in this opening round.
Yeah, so those teams that have nothing to lose, always kind of tough. Hey, before we go to picks, 3-point shooters, who you got lined up, Mike?
So it's funny. There were a lot of guys that turned it down. They wanted to save it for the game, is what they were saying. So we actually have Mike Dom shooting.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking it was gonna be him. My guess was gonna be put the big man out there and let him fire it up there. So that should be fun then. All right. Well, hey, we're running a little bit behind on time, so I'm getting the dirty looks from Hayner that we got to keep moving on to stay on schedule today. So moving into the picks, this is one of the rare ones that we had a very clean sweep. Always a Brave over the Chicago Hoopville Warriors. And full disclosure, the screen did not look the same against Tubby Time. We had to, send it back out to our panel and get some new picks, and unanimously everyone switched. And I can't remember what the breakdown was, Tubby Time versus Always a Brave, but I know it wasn't a sweep. So clean sweep there, and then House of Paign clean sweep. So what do you think about that, Bobby? We're all on board. Always a Brave now.
Well, I appreciate that you're all on board now, but where were you before? We were still the home team, higher seed. What the heck?
That Tubby Time team was pretty tough, and I won't disclose what my pick was because I'm getting that feel from you that you're ready to jump me. But I may have had Tubby Time up there prior.
They were always going to crush Tubby Time. Tubby Time never built the monster.
Yeah, Hayner wasn't picking Tubby Time. I can tell you that.
Absolutely not. So unfortunately, because we're a little time limited, we're actually up against the clock. So Mike LaTulip and Bobby Parker, thanks for swinging by. This has been ZoomTheTBT previewing Peoria, Illinois.
Appreciate you having us.
Thanks, guys.
Hope you enjoyed listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hayner. Subscribe to YouTube, follow on Twitter, and give us your money.